Hey, it's Dan with Dan Can Pest Control. Today we're talking about termites and the preventative Sentricon system. So here in DFW, we have sneaky little termites. So unlike in other states like California, where you've got termites that kind of fly in and swarm and eat the wood from above, the termites in Texas, they're sneaky. They're subterranean termites, and so they'll sneak into the house through little spaces as thin as credit cards, and then they can do massive damage to the structure. And so it's really important to understand that there is this issue out there and that it's very likely that it will happen in your home unless you have something there to prevent it from happening. So as I'm sure you know, most people's biggest investment that they'll ever make in their life is their home. And it's really a place of safety and security. And so just the idea of having these insects and these bugs crawling up through your walls and eating out the studs of the home, most people don't really like that idea. And I've been in some homes. One case, for example, it was kind of eye-opening, is somebody called us because they had termites, but the issue was that they actually only discovered they had termites because they had a house fire, and so they had stripped all of the drywall out of the house, and it was unique because we were able to see where these little termites got in and then just how far they really tracked through the entire home and how much damage they had really done. It weakens the structure of the home, the studs that are holding the house up. And as I'm sure you know, Texas has some pretty intense weather, and so you need as much protection and security as possible. And so if it's not something you're monitoring or preventing or treating, in Texas we like to say it's not a matter of if you get termites, it's a matter of when you get termites. And so by putting our systems in place, we're able to know when you get termites and know that we've prevented them before they became a problem. And so we highly recommend people getting the system in place to prevent the problem from happening. Dan Can partners with Sentricon, the #1 name brand termite baiting system, and we will install it around the property in all of the conducive conditions to create a complete barrier around your home, protecting it from being eaten by termites. The Texas Department of Agriculture, they're out of A&M, they've done tests and they say that there are 5 termite colonies for every square acre in Texas. So if you're thinking your neighbor, your next neighbor, and then the 3 in front of that, the Texas Department of Agriculture says that there's 5 termite colonies within that area. And I'd believe them. Just from me personally being out in the field, if you know what you're looking for, it is very easy to find termites in a Texas neighborhood. I'll look at fences, I'll look at corners of homes, I'll look at any wood. So many times I've been with people that I'm training or with customers, and I've been like, I'm gonna flip over that piece of wood and there's gonna be termites under it. And a lot of times I'll record it because most of the time there are. Like with most pests, we always prefer when people use us to prevent problems, but unfortunately, we get lots of calls every single day of people saying, I've got something flying on my walls, we just remodeled our bathroom and we have termites that have eaten all the studs, and now we need to replace all of the studs in this side of the house as well as remodel the bathroom. And so we hate it when we get those calls, but those calls do happen. And so we've got some of the best trained technicians out there that have tons of experience to be able to completely solve those problems and eliminate those termite colonies. And so, we'll go out there and do a full inspection to be able to know which, solutions and what treatments we need to do to completely eliminate that problem. A lot of times it's going to be, building a trench all the way around that slab concrete that we have in Texas, and then injecting up to 50 gallons of product down into that soil, making it so that the termites can't live in that soil around the home. It's just a lot bigger treatment than it is to prevent it, and it typically costs a lot more than it does to prevent the termites as well. But it's needed at that time. A lot of times if they're underneath that concrete, you will also need to kind of bore holes through that concrete to make sure we're getting the product where it needs to be. And that kind of goes along with, like we were talking about the rodents, the resale of the home. If somebody's coming to buy a house, but they see that there's been holes drilled all throughout the driveway and the concrete, they're instantly gonna know, oh, you had termites in this house. And then that's gonna kind of sometimes set off some like red flags for them, and they're kind of be like, well, do I wanna buy the house that's had termites, or do I wanna buy the house that hasn't had termites? And it can kind of affect the resale of your home. And so, just We always recommend having a professional company in place on your property every couple months, monitoring and preventing and protecting your home from these issues. But if we weren't able to do that and you do have a problem, please give us a call. We can completely remedy it and then put measures in place so that it doesn't ever happen again in the future.